What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another video. So in today's video, I'm going to do a trade breakdown of a trade that I took literally just today, where I made $600 in literally the first 4 minutes of the market open on the S&P 500. It was a top reversal setup, so selling from a key resistance level. And man, what a trade. It was just an A+ setup. Literally the context of the market, spot on. The location of the market at this resistance level was key. And then obviously the confirmation using the Bookmap and Orderflow to read all these confirmations and see where buyers and sellers are stepping in the market, what is weakening, what is strengthening. This is just exactly what gives me these precise entries and these massive trades in literally the span of minutes, as I am a scalper. And I think for a scalper, tools like Orderflow, such as Footprint or Bookmap or whatever, they are key in order to be profitable and consistently profitable. So, in this video, I'm going to cover everything from literally the analysis of this trade, of what I saw, why I wanted to sell from that area, and then also obviously the entry confirmations with the Bookmap, and also show you why I decided to enter there and also where I decided to exit. So let's dive right in. First things first, I wanted to show you guys that I actually really took this trade. Okay, you can see where I entered, you can see where I exited, where I took partials, all that good stuff. Okay, so this is not some trading view replay or whatever. This is an actual trade that I took today on my Top Step account. And it gave me pretty decent gains. So I'm very, very happy with my performance for today with this trade. And overall, the past couple of weeks has been insane. I've been milking the market, to be honest, quite good for the past couple of weeks. And this is just all mental shifts that we take, and constantly self-analyzing what you can do better, what you're lacking on is really important. That's why journaling is just massive part in the trading business, and this is something that I'm very big on. I write a lot. I make a lot of very in-depth pre-market plans, and then I do in-depth trade breakdowns. I do it here on YouTube, obviously for you guys, but I also do it personally for myself in my trading journal. And I'm very specific, and I always look at myself very objectively, and I just write down everything that I think I did wrong and everything I think I did good, and what can I improve on, and all that stuff, right? Which is very important. So let's just start off with the analysis of this trade. All right, so on the M15 time frame, we had this resistance level right here, and if I zoom out, this goes from quite a while. So we'll zoom out a little bit. We'll look from the back where this level actually is, and you can see right here, this was a key level from a long time ago, and you can see right here, this was especially from here, from the 11th of November. So 3 weeks ago, basically, where I had these highs, and then it got retested, reaction to it, then it broke, and then it got retested twice, nice reaction, broke again, retested, moved to the upside, broke again, retested, massive drop to the downside. So basically this could be here a supply level, but I really believe, and I've adjusted this, trading the S&P 500 futures, I see a lot of these structure points, and they were respected very well, and I see massive moves happen. So yes, originally in the beginning I was using more just supply and demand, but lately I've been adding more of these structure levels, which I have a video on my channel, by the way, where I use the line chart a lot for this, because you can very clearly see all the structure points without the noise of the wicks and the colors of the candles and all that. So yeah, this was the level basically. So this obviously was resistance today when I was looking to trade from this level. As you can see, it broke down, retested, and then a massive move to the downside. So I was looking to sell again from this level, and I wanted to wait for a sweep of these highs, which happened as well. We'll just mark a line over here. We'll mark it red as it's sell sweep. So if you go back to today, you can see how it swept these highs, and then it had a nice reaction to the downside. Now this sweep happened in the pre-market by the end of it. So yeah, my trading session here starts at 3:30 here in Europe time, and this happened about 3:15, so about 15 minutes before the market opened. This sweep happened, which is fine. It just means that if this sweep actually happens already before market session opens, then I don't really need to be looking for this sweep anymore. Okay, because it already happened. So if the market would have opened somewhere here, then I would have waited first for this sweep, and then I would be looking to sell. But since the sweep already happened before the market session opened, then I didn't really need to wait for another sweep, because the sweep already happened. So then I just needed to find confirmation on the Bookmap to sell. And as you can see right here, we had this M1 double top. So this for me was already an interesting area to sell from. As you'll see on the bookmap in a bit, we had some consolidation range with aggressive buying, couldn't go any further, aggressive selling to the downside. It was a good range. And as price was moving downwards and the market then later on opened over here, we had another range over here with consolidation and again heavy buying, and it didn't go further up, so there was aggressive selling that moved the price down. And I entered, well, obviously here, but I was waiting for price to return to this range and then see a shift from aggressive buying to aggressive selling. And this is exactly what happened. And there are multiple ways, multiple different patterns on the bookmap to look for entries. You can have, especially if you're looking for sells, you can wait for pullbacks of weaker buying, or you can see aggressive buying at the tops where it doesn't go any further, and then heavy selling is stepping in. These are the two main setups that I'd say I use. Either weaker buying or a lot of heavy buying multiple times, multiple attempts, but it just doesn't go any further. So I usually take partials if my trade is about 2R in profit. So usually I should take partials around here, and I take half off, so I already secure myself 1R. But today this sell-off just went a little bit too quick, and I look at the chart to manage my trade, and I also look at the bookmap. I look at the bids, and I see if I can adjust my target, because I did adjust my target in the end to a bit further. It was first over here, and then I saw a bid popping up over here, and then also had these equal lows over here that I wanted to target. And as you can see, it actually swept these lows and then had quite a retrace to the upside. Obviously, I would still be in the trade if I would have left it, but I thought it was a good target. So my full target was right here, which is 3.5R. And this sell-off just happened so quick that in the end I took some partials a bit later on, which is fine. It just made me more money, so that's great. And this trade was just insanely quick, as you can see. Literally like 3-4 minutes it took me from entry to target. And there wasn't a lot of volatility at the start of the market here in the first couple of minutes, but yeah, obviously I entered actually in this green candle. This is where I entered, and this was minute like 3 of the market open, and literally in less than 3 minutes my target got hit. So that was beautiful to see. And obviously, yes, I could have had more gains. I would have targeted the next level, but that just means I would have stayed in the trade a lot longer, and have all this stress of all this consolidation, all this messy price action, and dealing with the retraces and getting close to the entry, and then more reaches to the upside. And any trader that is trading with decent amounts and is scalping knows how stressful these pullbacks or these long times of consolidation can be. It's really draining mentally. So for me, that's personally just not worth it. I like to get in and out pretty quick. So yeah, this was the analysis for this trade. So let's go into the bookmap and see what happened over there. So here you can see we have 3:30, which is my European time where the market opens. This is the range that I was telling you guys about. So I already had this range marked out. It's just so clean to see, guys. Like, you can see how much heavy buying there is here at the top, and the price doesn't go any further, and it just pushes to the downside, right? There's some heavy selling that steps in, and it pushes the prices to the downside. There's a nice consolidation range. So I was waiting personally for price to return into this consolidation range, and that just unfortunately didn't happen. Okay, so all I had to do now was wait for this level to reach, and if it doesn't happen, then I'll just wait for another range to be created. And this is exactly what happened. So we'll just click on play, and we'll speed it up a little bit so you guys can see exactly what happened in the market. So the market is going to open any second now. Here you go. So here, what do we see already? We see some consolidation right here with some heavy buying, and price is not going any further. Okay, so let's just wait a little bit more until it's clear, and then you guys will see. But I already like this. Okay, I like this heavy buying here. That price could not go any further. So mark this out. This is exactly what I did. And now all I do, basically, you see consolidation, you see heavy buying here at the top. Price doesn't go any further. Aggressive drop to the downside. Here I would look for entries. As you can see, the market is moving very slow. Okay, it's probably just December price action, but I'll pause it now, guys, just to explain to you. But the market has just opened literally at 3:30, and in less than 2 minutes, the market is moving really slow. It's not very volatile. So that's not what we're used to seeing on, on the futures market, on ES, on S&P 500. It's just not common. And there were couple of milliseconds that I was thinking of not entering this trade just because the price was so slow. And for me, it's one key thing is the speed of the tape. So as you can see, the speed of the tape is not very aggressive and not very quick. So I don't really like these conditions. I remember like 1 or 2 weeks ago, especially I think it was 2 weeks ago, everything was super volatile, super quick, and yeah, that's just those are glory days because you can actually catch multiple positions, multiple trades in one single session in a very short amount of time because everything is just flying up and down constantly. And yeah, it's just amazing when there's a lot of volatility. But these conditions when everything is just so slow, it's really annoying because these conditions might avoid you entering trades because you don't like the conditions, but then all of a sudden a massive drop or a massive rally happens for like a couple minutes, and that would have been a great trade. And then you're like, oh man, I missed out on it because the conditions were so slow, and then all of a sudden this massive move happened out of nowhere. And trust me, like I've had moments like that where I avoided being in a trade, and then in the end it works my way, and then the move all of a sudden out of nowhere just pumps or dumps. So here you can see already some heavy buying over here, weaker buying at the top. Their buyers are trying again to push the price higher, but they're failing. And there is some aggressive selling stepping in here. So, anytime here that I see a pullback basically with weaker buying, this is where I decided to get in. So this is the real speed of the market. Okay, so this is ultra slow, ultra slow. This is very, very draining. So we have already, again, a nice move to the downside, even though buyers tried to push the price higher and they failed. Here we see, this is exactly what I wanted. Okay, so here you see this little quick move to the upside, but very, very small buy. Okay, nothing big, nothing aggressive. And, to be honest, I didn't even wait for aggressive sellers to step in. This is exactly where I entered, right here. Let me just draw a line, okay? This is exactly where I entered here at the 74.50s. This is where I entered because I saw this little pullback, this little pop with very weak buying, very small contract sizes. So I was willing to risk it. I entered right here with a 4-point stop loss. So my stop loss was at the 78.50s. Pretty big stop loss, a lot of room, which is fine. It's lately I've been trading with bigger stop losses like 4 points, 5 points, maybe even 6. And I've been more profitable than ever, to be honest. Like in the beginning, I was trying to trade with 2-point stop losses and maybe 3 sometimes, but I used 2 a lot, and I would just get stopped out many times and I have to re-enter. And sometimes you're scared to re-enter because you had a loss, and it's just a complete mess. So I'd rather have a little bit bigger stop loss and give it some room for error to the trade, and just sit back and have my entry, have my clear stop loss, give it a bit of room. I have my target. Okay, yes, maybe I won't be catching these 7 or 8 or 10 hour trades, but I'm very happy catching 3 hour or 2.5 or 3.5 consistently every single day. Like I take that any time of the year. Okay, so this is my entry, and I had a little bit of drawdown, 74.50, but not much, to be honest. And you can see we had a nice aggressive selling already stepping in here, which is good signal after especially this failed pop with weaker buying. So let's speed it up a little because honestly, guys, this is literally draining to me. I've already sat through this today live, and now I'm doing it on the replay just to explain to you guys. But this slow price action on the Bookmap is honestly killing me. So let's speed it up again. A little bit of drawdown, again aggressive buying, and immediately followed with aggressive selling. Perfect. Again, buyers are trying, couldn't go any further. Really good reaction again. This would have been another great entry over here, especially if after you see some aggressive selling stepping in. So somewhere over here. And there we go. Nice drop. Very aggressive. All of a sudden out of nowhere. You see how everything was so slow and choppy, and all of a sudden this drop was just amazing, and yeah, like if we look at the chart again, my target was at the 60.25s and my partials were at the 63.25s. So you see how quick we went to the 63.25 was where I took partials. And then, my full TP was at the 60.25s. 60.25s where we also had this small bid right here, and it was also a low on the chart. You see we had this equal low. So, I thought it was a good point to, exit the full trade, as I could potentially expect a reversal, and that's exactly what happened. Obviously, if it would have gone literally like 2-3 points higher, I would have been out break even. So in this case, it didn't happen. So I think still it was a very, very good target and a pretty good risk to reward. So Let's click on play again and see what happens. But yeah, the price all of a sudden was a lot quicker, thankfully. And you can see some aggressive buying again, that very aggressive selling. We're almost there at the 60.25s, almost there. This is our target right here, and there we go. Target hit, and we're fully out of this trade. We're making $600 in literally a couple of minutes, which was insane. And this is what I was explaining, earlier. Even with the slow conditions, like it might hold you back of entering a trade, and it has held me back personally a lot. Just because I don't like these conditions. And I must say the past 2 weeks where the market has been quite slow and quite choppy, stuck in balance ranges for days. My all my best trades were literally within the first 10 minutes of the market open, where it was at least some volatility, but still not massive. And then after that, the market would just like chop around and be ranging and a lot of wicks everywhere and just not have a clear direction. So today it worked out again, but I'm not the biggest fan so far of today's December's price action. But like I said in the beginning, the most annoying thing is these conditions might hold you back of entering trades, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this massive drop happens, which is very volatile, and then you're like, oh man, I could be in that because it was my setup. I just didn't like the conditions, and to be honest, if you really want to trade these conditions, I would just use a bigger stop loss. This is what I do. Like I just give the trade more room for error, and I would wait a little bit longer for putting your stop loss to break even, as it might take a while and might come back to your entry like 3, 4, 5 times if the market is so choppy and slow, So this is just my personal opinion on it, and that's what I personally do. But obviously, if the market is very volatile, then it's unlikely the market will return to your entry multiple times before hitting your way. So this is when you can move your stop loss to break even a lot quicker. So yeah, let's hope the next couple of days or weeks are a little bit better, but I doubt it. We're nearing Christmas and all that, and the holidays, so we might expect still some choppy price action and not a lot of volatility in the market. But we just have to adapt to the situation and try to make the best out of it. So, anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this trade breakdown. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Many more trade breakdowns to come. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.